ワンオンワンテック始まります。今日のテーマはシリコンバレーの大物投資家が語る AI 時代の覇者です。AI の覇権争い今混沌を極めているんですけども、OpenAI のチャット GPT だったりアンソロピックのクロードといったアメリカ勢にKimi K3 や GLM などの中国 AI 勢が今挑戦状を突きつけています。そしてこの次の5年10年を担う AI の巨大企業はどこになるのか、そして日本にはですね、そこにはチャンスがあるのか、今日はUber の創業初期に投資をして一躍注目を集めたアメリカの大物エンジェル投資家ジェイソン・カラカニスさんにお話を伺います。トピックは3つです。誰が知能を握るのか、そして次の巨大 AI 企業はどこから生まれるのか、そして最後が日本は次の世界企業を輩出できるか。それではジェイソンさんをお呼びしましょう。So we're joined by Jason Calacanis, angel investor from Silicon Valley and the co-host of All In Podcast.
Yes. Number one podcast in the world.
Yeah, you said that in the beginning of the show, right?
Yes, I was manifesting.
Yeah. And you have
Had a dream.
Had a dream?
Had a dream. It'll be number one. This weekend, we were number 4 in the United States. I think it's Apple charts, we were number 4.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's very niche.
Mm-hmm.
Politics, business, media.
Is it niche?
I think so. It's highly technical. Most people,
Right.
like if you had, you showed it to a non-business person, they would be very confused because we use lots of deep technical financial terms.
Yeah.
But it's gotten very popular globally and also amongst young people. And then people maybe who care about politics and technology and finance coming together.
Yeah.
So it's become very popular in year 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to give our audience sort of quick introduction of you, and I want to ask you a couple of questions before going into today's topics, but you were sort of the media entrepreneur.
Yes.
And that became the angel investor.
Correct.
After that. Like, how did that transition happen?
Yes. So I had started zines, which are independent magazines.
Right.
And that was in the 90s in New York City, that was a very punk rock, very rebellious.
Yeah.
And so I had started one zine called Cyber Surfer before the internet in 93, maybe?
Yeah.
94. And then I started Silicon Alley Reporter in 1995, which was about the internet in New York City. And it was a photocopy, 16 pages like this.
Yeah.
And I would write it. I took the pictures. I did the design, graphic design.
You made it all by yourself?
Well, maybe like 2 or 3 people helped me, freelancers. And then I would put it on a luggage cart and I would walk around Manhattan and hand it out. Or I would go to a cafe and I would take another magazine and I would slide it inside the other newspapers.
Right.
And then I wanted to be on the newsstand. So I took the barcode, like QR code, barcode, from another magazine. And then I would go to the magazine store and I would take out 10 copies and put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And then people would come and buy it and they would scan it for $5 or $3. It would say home and garden. And the person would look at it and go, okay. And so that's how I first got newsstand distribution. I hijacked it.
Yeah.
But I did that for many years. That magazine went from a photocopy to maybe $12 million and 300 pages during the dot-com boom. Then I did blogs. I saw blogs and podcasts. In 2003, 2004. And I had one of the first podcasts. This Week in Startups now is in year 16. 2,000 episodes. All in is year 5. And so I did the blogging company that did Engadget, Autoblog, Joystick, and I sold to AOL 18 months after I started it for $30 million, which was a lot of money back then. And Mark Cuban was my only investor.
Wow.
And I had a partner, Brian Alvey, in that business. And Sequoia Capital, number one venture capital firm in the United States, asked me to be their first scout. And maybe in the first 7 investments, I hit 3 unicorns.
Oh.
So that's like if you were a scout, getting 3 MVPs in your first 7.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe hitting 3 grand slams, out of 7 times at bat. Impossible luck.
Is it not venture capitalists, basically? Or
venture capital. Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing venture capital, but 25K, 50K checks. Now I have my own firm.
Yeah.
I have my own money. So I invest my money plus some LPs, limited partners, and I do 100 investments per year.
Per year?
Per year. So I have 20 people, mostly in the United States, but some are now outside the United States, but incorporated in America and going after American customers. My belief is if for early stage, you want your investors to understand the local culture and to be based where your company is. So if your company is based in Abu Dhabi or Berlin or Stockholm or Tokyo, you want your investors to be near you. That being said, I now go to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, twice a year for Founder University. And I go to Japan, Tokyo, twice a year for Founder University here. So when the podcasts, the two different podcasts, This Week in Startups and All In, got very popular, I started getting, 10, 20,000 applications for funding a year. Email, forms, everything. Showing up at the office, knocking on the door, people mailing me a business plan. And half of the people applying were not incorporated yet. They just had an idea, maybe a website. So I created Founder University, 12 weeks, where I teach them every secret from every founder we've ever invested in, everything we know. And it's very simple stuff. How to do a cap table, how to do IP assignment, how to get your first customer, how to do web design, how to make a logo, how to find a co-founder, how to do sales, how to do marketing, all the basics. And that was so successful in the United States because we watched for 12 weeks as they built a company. And we asked them every week to meet twice a week and then give us a form every week. What did you get done this week? Progress. Yeah. And we watch it. And then whoever makes the most progress, we'll give them their first $25,000 or first $100,000. And we become the first investor in their company.
You invested in Uber?
Yeah. Third investor, fourth investor.
You third and fourth investor. Yeah. And when it was still small. Robinhood.
Yeah. Before the big one. That's my number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Well, for Uber, my friend Travis had started the company. And when I was a journalist, I had interviewed him when he was 23 or 24 years old when he had his first company. And I was maybe 26 or 27.
Was it before Uber?
Yes, 2 companies before Uber. It was called Scour, peer-to-peer, like Napster. And I interviewed him, and then we became friendly. And then he did Red Swoosh, and we became friends. And we always stayed in touch and would hang out. And then when he had his new company, Uber, he was having a hard time raising money. And I got 20 angel investors together, and 3 of us invested. 19 said, no, it's too crazy. And those 3 people, the other 2 are very happy with me. And so we remain friends, and I'm an investor in his new company, which was Cloud Kitchens and now called Atoms. And so I'm very lucky to have many friends who are great entrepreneurs. And sometimes I'm lucky enough to help them with their companies or invest, or sometimes just be a friend. It's hard to be an entrepreneur. It's very lonely, and everybody wants to get something from you. Yeah. And so it's good to have friends who can be honest with you and who can maybe talk to you candidly and help you solve problems. So I feel very honored that sometimes good friends who are also very incredible entrepreneurs, much better than I ever was, will say, hey, can we get a late dinner, have a steak? I want to talk to you about something. And we talk. And sometimes it's very important to get honest feedback and advice. It's very rare. Right. Especially the more powerful and the more success you have, the less people tell you the truth. Right. And so it's important to have friends who will tell you, I think that's dumb. Or is that the best you can do? Or is there a better solution? We've had many deep conversations, and they've also helped me with my career, and many deep conversations about what matters as an entrepreneur. Balancing being a father and a husband or wife and being an entrepreneur, also very hard. It's a very stressful job.
Right. But that Uber investment made you
very rich.
Rich.
Very rich.
Of course. Of course you did.
And also famous. It's kind of a joke now. People, it's kind of a meme in America.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So first part, who controls intelligence? We've seen the rise of Chinese AI models like Kimi K3 and GLM or Quen, and everyone talks about it right now. So what does it mean? What does the rise of Chinese model mean for America's AI advantage?
Sure.
Right now?
So maybe in 2003 on the podcast, I said I thought open source would win.
Mm-hmm.
And Elon started OpenAI and funded it with the first $50 million to be OpenAI, not closed AI.
Yeah.
Because he felt the technology was so important for humanity that everybody should have access to it. And then Sam Altman kind of double-crossed him and made it closed and took it from non-profit to for-profit. Okay, so we'll put that aside. It's a good story, but why is open source so important? Well, when you use the frontier models and you give it your data, so let's say you work in education, or you work in life sciences, biotech, or you work in finance. As you use it, it's learning.
Yeah.
So you're giving all the intelligence inside your company to these big companies. Can you trust them? The answer is no. You can never trust those large companies, because those large companies are now valued at $1 trillion. And they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on infrastructure. Yeah. And they're losing tens of billions of dollars. And they're going to lose or invest, however you want to look at it. I say invest. They're going to invest hundreds of billions of dollars. They will have to compete on the application layer. And so when Cursor, which is a coding tool, was working with Anthropic, Anthropic secretly had a coding agent inside the building.
Yeah.
Cursor found out. They said, oh, this is a story. I don't know how much is true. But Cursor was using their software, was educating them, and then they released Claude Code.
Yeah.
Then they released Claude Design, and they stuck a knife in Figma, tried to kill Figma. Then if you look at 11 Labs doing voice, both OpenAI and Anthropic have done voice. If you look at Lovable, making $600 million a year, Lovable now has to compete with website designers and code agents by both of those companies.
Yeah.
All of these companies now do not trust the big companies, and they will be moving off of their platforms to open source. This is not known, and they will not admit it. But I know. They are all doing projects to build their own models off open source and fork it.
Yeah.
And there is a project at NVIDIA, NeMo. They have their own open source model.
NeMo Chong.
Yes. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Jensen doesn't talk about it too often, except this week he started talking about open source.
Yeah.
Apple has open source for images. Microsoft is open source. All of these top customers are going to leave Anthropic and OpenAI. 11 Labs, Lovable, I believe they're going to stop using the frontier models.
Okay.
I believe they're going to fork the open source models and then build their own models. Why? Sovereignty.
Yeah.
They know that those big ones are going to compete. What we didn't expect was for open source, which was 1 year behind last year, to become 3 months behind this year. The gap has closed.
Yeah.
Now, Anthropic and OpenAI both stole training data. Anthropic just paid $1.5 billion to book publishers in a settlement.
OpenAI infringement. Yeah.
Copyright infringement against news broadcasters.
I know.
Yeah. And so then OpenAI has a big lawsuit with New York Times.
Yeah.
They stole the content to make their trillion-dollar businesses. And now they're complaining that the Chinese distilled, which is a fancy way of saying used at scale. So you put all the top queries into those, and then you incorporate it into your new model and train your new model based on it. And so now they're crying, oh, look, you stole our, they're stealing our language model after they stole from authors like me and broadcasters like you. They'll take this transcript and put it in and not pay for it. It's completely unfair. I believe they should take 30% of the revenue, those language models, and they should give it license all the content they want to use. That would be fair. Only 30% is a good deal. I believe it's a good deal. Putting that aside, China was so far behind in AI that when you're behind in a race, open source is an accelerant. Why is it an accelerant? Well, because everybody can see the code, everybody can contribute, and startups will look at open source and say, I can use it for free. I can change it. So my choice is to give all my money, all my investment to OpenAI and Anthropic, or get this for free and keep my secrets. It's a better choice. It's an obvious choice, unless open source is 1 year behind. Then you have no choice but to use these models. And then Thinking Machines is Mira has released open weights, open model. Then you have the Nemotron, and then you have many other projects you'll be hearing more about soon. You're going to see many more projects
from the U.S.
labs. Many more. So don't be surprised if there are many more. So then how do you make money off tokens? Tokens right now will be the cost of electricity and the servers. It's going to go down 90% a year. But my prediction has been for 2 years now that we're going to run them locally and that people are going to buy $10,000, $20,000 workstations again. It used to be when you bought a PC in 1982 or 83, it was $4,000 or $5,000, a big box. And it literally was $4,000 or $5,000 in $1980, which is maybe $15,000 now. That's coming back because you're going to be able to run on a Mac Studio or a Dell with NVIDIA chips for $10,000 to $20,000. You'll be able to run these frontier models maybe in a year. And you'll have 512 gig or maybe even 1 terabyte or 1.5 terabyte. Mark Gurman, who works for Bloomberg in America, he said the M7 chip, it's M5 now, M6 next year, M7 maybe shortly after that. He believes the M7 will have 1.5 terabytes of RAM, not storage, RAM. You're going to be able to run the local models. When you have unmetered, there's no clock. I've had unmetered tokens. Somebody gave me a special crypto project on BitTensor where they were running GLM 5.2 from Z.AI, Chinese model, but they had put it on a distributed network of computers, kind of like Bitcoin. It's called BitTensor. And so they gave me a key, and I could use the entire network for free. They wanted to impress me. They wanted me to talk about it. So they said, here's a free key. When you have free intelligence on demand, all of a sudden everything changes. It's like you're going to a giant mall and you can have anything you want. So I started writing scripts to do things every 4 hours, then every hour, then every 5 minutes. And I started building agents, going crazy, researching the entire internet. When you don't look at the clock and the meter, your behavior changes. So when you run these models locally, it's unmetered. You don't have to put a credit card in. You buy the hardware, whatever the electricity cost is, now you can go. This is going to change everything. Right now, the cost is, I think Anthropic just said they dropped the prices 50% last week. I think the prices go down 90% a year, each year for the next 3 years.
So whether that's cloud or local?
Or I think the local is going to, open source and local are going to put so much pressure on OpenAI and Anthropic and other products that I think that their IPOs are going to be challenged. I said that this week. People thought I was crazy. But 2 years ago, in 2003, I said open source was going to win. People said I was crazy. And so maybe there's a trend. Open source is deflationary. Open source means that the only cost is the machine and the electricity. And there are many machines being built, and we have enough electricity in our homes. And don't be surprised if people start putting large power walls in their homes and having their employees have servers at home. Intelligence and tokens, there is no upper limit for what people will consume. I believe people will consume unlimited intelligence on demand. There is no cap. So Jevons paradox, as the price goes down, consumption goes up.
Yes.
So that's the future.
So people are not going to depend on the massive physical data centers. Instead,
Local.
they do they use a distribution.
Yes.
Distributed network.
You'll have this laptop,
Yeah.
and at your house or in your office, you're going to have a $10,000, $20,000 machine, desktop, really server power.
Yeah.
And this will connect to that, and you'll be giving instructions to that computer.
Right.
So everybody who works at a company will have a laptop for $1,000, a dumb laptop. Well, but my MacBook M5 has 48 gigs of RAM, so it can run a small language model, SLM. And I'm working with one of the companies, I won't say which one, but next week, a high-profile company is going to allow you to run a local model on their harness. So even the laptop will have a small language model. Your desktop will have a large one, or you may stack two.
Right.
So you can stack the Mac Studios and connect them with EXO Labs that will then act as one computer. Or you can get multiple NVIDIA cards and put them into a rack. You can see hackers and hobbyists doing it. They get a chassis and they put 4, and then they run a cable to their PC. And so when you do your queries or you run your agent, it'll run on your laptop, your home server.
Yeah.
Then maybe go open source to the cloud. And if it still can't solve the problem, and maybe we'll go to a BitTensor distributed crypto network of LLMs.
Yeah.
And last choice will be frontier model. Frontier models are still going to have revenue growth, but they're going to have a problem charging the prices they charge today.
But how are the companies of open source models going to make money from it?
They don't need to.
Why?
Hosting. They make it off hosting.
Like a cloud?
Yeah.
Hosting on the cloud?
Yeah, you just play for cloud. Yeah. And services. So if you look at WordPress, this runs, I think 40% of the internet runs on WordPress, open source project. And then there's so that's WordPress.org. And then Matt Mullenweg created WordPress.com. And then there's another company, WP Engine. And they've been fighting. But those two do hosting and services and support. So if you're a hacker or you work in an IT department, you can just take the open source project and run it. Or if you were running Bloomberg or TBS, you would say, well, I need support. I want uptime. I want to call on the phone and get support. I want the patches automatically installed. So then you would use WordPress.com hosting, VIP hosting, or you would use WP Engine. And with those, you're not paying for the software. You're paying for the services and support. Services and support and hosting is what you pay for. But $0 for the software. Just like MySQL, right? Versus Oracle. Oracle charges you for their software and their services and hosting. But if you use MySQL, they don't charge you for the open source software, just for the services and software. And that creates downward pressure on the pricing.
So is Moonshot AI also going to make money in that way?
They'll host it. Way? Yeah, they'll host it for people. Yeah. Very low margin business, like 30% margin business, 20% margin business. It'll probably be a much lower margin business. Kind of like storage,
Yeah. So what are OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google going to do?
Well, Google has other businesses, so they'll be fine. And they also have a cloud business, Google Cloud. So they'll serve it in Google Cloud. Plus they have their advertising business. They'll be fine. What OpenAI and Anthropic will do is they're going to take the vertical application layer. So they'll take on Figma. They'll take on 11 Labs. They'll take on Lovable. They will take on finance companies. They'll take on Microsoft Office. They'll create their own version of Slack.
Right.
They're going to go right after the application. So when you load Claude, they'll have Claude Cowork, Claude Code, they have Claude Design, and they'll also they have Claude Biotech now. They'll have Claude Documents, Claude Spreadsheets, Claude Presentations. They're going to go right after the application level. So you'll pay them one price, $20 per person per month, or $200 per person per month. And then they're going to they'll compete with Microsoft Office. They'll have a Gmail competitor. They'll have email. They'll probably take on Notion, Oracle. They're going to go right after the application layer. They're going to go after every vertical.
Oh, so
one by one.
They're going to build AI native version of each software.
Every single one. And they'll make an operating system eventually. So they'll have a laptop with Claude OS and OpenAI OS. And then already we know that Johnny Ive is working with Sam to create an iPhone killer. So they'll go after, on the consumer side, OpenAI is going to try to kill the iPhone.
Is it going to be successful?
They don't need to be successful at every one, but they'll be successful at one or two. Already, Claude Code and Claude Cowork are very successful. I don't know how Claude Design is doing, but I assume it's doing pretty well. Yeah.
So models are being commoditized, obviously.
The model layer gets commoditized. So here's the model layer. Underneath it, the hosting, not commoditized. Model layer, commoditized. Above it, applications, not commoditized.
So infrastructure layer and app layer matters.
That's where the money will be. The model layer will be open source, no money. Unless they're so good at making models that they get their lead back to a year. If the lead's under a year for 2 or 3 years, then everybody's going to be like, well, I only need the frontier models for the most demanding jobs. And right now, most of the startups I work with, and we invest in 100 startups a year at my firm. My firm is called Launch. Almost all of those firms are working either with a frontier model and open source, or they're mostly open source.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, startups don't have a lot of money. So if they can save money, they're very clever. They're very frugal.
So I guess token costs are not going to be that much of an issue like in the future.
Well, I think people are, as the price goes down 90%, I think people are going to consume 20 times as many. I think everybody in business is going to consume $10,000, $20,000 a year in tokens, at least 10% of your salary, maybe 20%. And I think if you don't embrace the tools, you're going to lose your job. If you do embrace, what's going to happen is, let's say you have 10 employees at your company, 5 will embrace the tools. They become 5 times more effective each. So those 5 equal 25 employees. The 5 who don't, let's just say each one gets paid $100,000. You have a $1 million salary for 10 people at your startup. You're going to fire those 5. These 5 who make $100,000, you're going to take the $500K in savings. You're going to give them a 20% raise. So now they make $120,000. And then you're going to give them $20,000 in tokens each. And then they're going to make, $150 each, maybe, in total cost. And you're going to buy them a $20,000 desktop computer, like I talked about. So you'll spend $800,000 on those 5, and you'll save $200,000, and the company will run better. If you don't learn the tools, and you're not AI first, within a year, or maybe even 6 months, you will not have a job. It's over. At least in the aggressive startup companies, maybe not in a big company. In Japan, culture is very different. But in America, there's no issue with firing or laying somebody off. Nobody cares. In America, there's no loyalty in employment. The employee can leave anytime, and nobody feels bad about it. You have a better job? Good for you. Bye. Where in Japan, if you were to leave, you would suffer over this decision. And you would apologize to your coworkers, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. And it would be a very emotional, important decision for you to make. That's why in business, we do better than anybody.
That's what I would ask. Before going into the next topic, what does the open source, the discussion that you talked about, mean to Japan? How does that
you need to have your own open source models here. You need some champions, especially for robotics. I know there's a big government effort for robotics. At least 1/3 of that money should go towards open source models for, real world models, world building models. And so that would be a good effort.
They're building the open weight model for physical AI. So,
So that's as important, maybe more important than the robot itself, because the physicality of the robots is going to be quickly commoditized, just like we see with electronic vehicles, right? Everybody has EVs. Electric vehicles are everywhere. China can copy them. Japan can copy them. Germany can copy them, from Tesla. And so now there's a commodified technology. I think the same will happen with the robotics and the physicality of them. So then what's left is the brains.
Yeah.
And you guys are very good at building, precise robots. So I think Japan is going to be a rising power in factories again, just like you were previously. And you'll be able to have factories here and ports here that are operating at incredible scale with robots.
Yeah.
And then the 90 million Japanese who are left will be able to make a very good living, and salaries will rise proportional to how quickly you deploy those robots. Every time you deploy a robot for a human, the human will make 10 or 20% more salary. And then if each human has 5 robots, the salary, or 10 robots, the salary for the average Japanese person managing them will double. It'll be highly profitable. It will solve the wage problem in Japan.
Yeah.
If all the ports and factories reopen with robots. I don't know who's responsible for the strategy of government investment in robotics. It's the perfect strategy for Japan, I believe.
That's the point. Who's responsible for that?
I think the government made this decision.
Yeah.
Now you just need the entrepreneurs to get going.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to scale the building of the robots.
Right.
So just like Uniqlo, great Japanese company, is incredible. We have the same T-shirt. I noticed it. Yes. I brought my daughter to Uniqlo. This is my favorite company in the world. I want to join the board. So if somebody wants an American board member, I will join the board.
Hired him.
And you can pay me $0. I will just do it to learn. But my understanding is they really understand consumers, and they understand technology and fabrics. It's a technology company, and they understand user experience, and they understand brand in a very unique way. They don't need to put the logo on the outside. I can tell that that's, I told you when we sat down, that's Uniqlo, because I could tell from the collar, which doesn't turn into bacon.
I know.
Bacon collar is a big problem. And so it's, that's the future. So if you can source the robots from anywhere and the parts from anywhere, Taiwan, Vietnam, China, wherever, and then build them here and have the brains here and then scale it, there's no reason you can't have, 200 or 300 million robots in Japan.
Okay, great. Let's move into the next part. Where the next giants come from. So I wanted to ask you this question. If you were starting a company, what kind of AI native company would you build?
You have to start building. That's number one. So anybody could be a founder today. It used to be that you needed to have a developer or you had to learn to develop. And now we have the ability to build software. I built a podcast player last week when I was in Paris because I had jet lag and I stayed up in the middle of the night and I built a podcast player for $12. And what my podcast player does is it takes the top 100 podcasts, it gets all the topics, puts it in a database, and then I pick a topic. Like let's say I picked Kimi, the new model. And it would search all 100 tech and business podcasts. And it says, oh, these 10 talk about Kimi. Then it makes me one audio file or a web page. I hit play, and if Kimi was the first story on your podcast, it would play minute 1. But if on my podcast, it was the last topic and was minute 30, it would play minute 30. So it plays me the best of Kimi. Because I said,
amazing.
That's amazing. So I looked for it online to see if anybody had the idea. Instead, I just built it for myself. If I spent 2 more weeks on it, I could release it and you pay me $100 for it. And so it's that simple. Anybody can build almost any product within days to weeks and then test it. So the small niche products were not viable when you had to hire 12 people to build it. Like building an app company used to cost $2 or $3 million a year in the US. So you had to raise $3 million and you gave it a shot for maybe 18 months. And it was a lot of work. Now that same company could be 1 or 2 people and they could launch the product within 1, 2, or 3 months and then know if it works or not. But because the cost is 90% cheaper, then to be profitable is so much faster. So we're going to see a Cambrian explosion, like maybe 1,000 times as many startups. And most of them are going to be $1 to $10 million in revenue. They will not be backable by venture capital. Maybe by an angel investor and putting in small amounts of money, but they will only need $100,000 or $200,000 of investment in the life of the company to get to $10 million. And they'll just need that for hosting or maybe what we call like a ramen startup, which means you have enough money to eat ramen every day. You've heard this term? Ramen funding?
Sort of, yeah.
No, ramen funding was Paul Graham's joke, or somebody at Y Combinator's joke. That because it used to be the original Y Combinator deal, I think it was $16,000. It was $8,000 per employee. So if you had 2, it was 16. If you had 3, it was 24. And they said for 3 months, you can buy ramen. So they could ramen funding.
You can only afford.
You can only afford $5 ramen, instant ramen, $3. So that's what I think is going to happen. And, it could be any type of software, niche software, niche services that we wouldn't have funded 5 years ago will be fundable now. But the outcomes will be very different. And then the next question is always, well, what's the moat?
Yeah.
Well, if you build $1 million a year business and you're currently making $100,000 a year salary, and your $1 million business has a 60% margin, you've now 6x your salary. So I encourage everybody to quit their jobs and try.
So you said they don't really need equity investment from big venture capital.
So unless they get to scale.
So venture capital is not surviving there?
It's going to be different. It's like a barbell strategy. Late stage, you really need a lot of money for physical AI and scaling. And then I think the startup funding in the beginning to get the flywheel going. But if the flywheel gets going, you have revenue. So the middle part of venture capital, Series A, Series B, Series C, you may not need because you get from, if you raised $1 million, you might get to 10 million and be profitable and then just invest the profits and never have to raise money until maybe the end when you want to acquire companies or you want to really scale the business. So it's going to be very strange. One thing I can tell you is the world's going to get very weird and strange in next year. It already feels weird, right?
Changing like too fast. Yeah.
Too fast. You feel like disoriented. Next year, it's going to feel 10 times more disorienting. It's going to feel like we're all in a hurricane.
Okay. What do you specifically mean?
Well, the software is going to change so fast that you will not be able to keep up with the changes.
Yeah.
And if you try to do something with AI 6 months ago and you have an opinion and you haven't used AI in July, your opinion from January, February is wrong. It's meaningless. 1 month later, everything changes.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing it because in the last 30 days, Grok 4.5, GLM 5.2, the new Kimi, Nemo, and Fable, and OpenAI.
GPT 5.6.
5.6.
Yes.
And Perplexity Computer, they've all made incredible progress on their harnesses and their products. And there's all kinds of open source projects, like I was mentioning, BitTensor and these networks. That's in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
And I have switched which model I'm using and what output I'm trying, like maybe every 2 or 3 days. So in my Slack, I have Claude and Perplexity Computer. I ask Claude to do something. Then I ask Perplexity, check Claude's response, ask Claude questions, and make it better. Then I tell Claude to do a better job on what Perplexity told you.
It's like managing team members.
Yes. And it was amazing. They were apologizing to each other. Oh, I'm sorry, Claude-san. I'm sorry I criticized you, Perplexity Computer-san. I was like, really, they had good manners.
Yeah.
And then I told them, stop chit-chatting, get to work, make it better. It's incredible how things have changed.
Yeah, we're in a world where everyone can sort of fund a company, start a business with AI more easily. But what's next Uber for you right now?
Oh, for me? We have a couple of companies doing very well. One is called Abacus, and they are making local models for businesses so that you buy a hardware, like a server, and then they take all your data, if you're in a regulated industry, healthcare, finance, etc., and then they make your own model for you with your data.
Okay.
Then we have a company, Micro One. We invested it when it was a $12 million company. It's now worth many billions of dollars. They do training. And so what they do is they create unique data sets with experts for the other models. So the other models contract them and say, we need this very specific knowledge. Cooking and like real world cooking. We need math. We need science. We need legal. Then we have another one, Tax GPT. I think maybe 5 or 10% of accountants in America are now using it as a co-pilot. When you're doing and filling out the taxes, it watches you work and it fixes problems and it checks your work. And that makes you 2 or 3 times as fast. And that's going to change everything. So we find all these amazing companies. We get to invest in them. We also invested in a company called Zipline, which is making drones that deliver food to your doorstep. We invested in a company called Vast, which is making the new space station. So we're getting into physical AI too.
So what do you focus on?
Podcasts.
I mean, oh, sorry. What do you see about the company when you try to decide?
I was making a joke.
Investment.
Yeah. So today we like founders who are very strong founders, driven founders, sometimes hard to get along with. Maybe other people would say they're arrogant or difficult. We see them as being driven and decisive. We look at it in a positive way. You know, like I'm not easy to get along with sometimes. I have high standards. It's okay. People who want to get along don't change the world. Doesn't mean you have to be a jerk, but you will be interpreted sometimes as a jerk. But if, you know, I have a hard time in my own firm with people who don't want to work, you know, 50, 60, 70 hours a week and who want to turn their email off on Friday at 5 p.m. and then turn it back on Monday at 9 a.m. Why? Because our founders don't take the weekends off. So I tell people I judge them by their response time. But, you know, some people don't have that level of commitment, which is okay. They can work at Starbucks. Starbucks needs baristas. And those baristas work a shift. And one of the great things about being a barista and making coffee is you can turn it on and turn it off. But if you're an investor or a founder, you cannot turn it off. It's a much more dynamic space. So, you know, I've had people who work for me who think I'm unreasonable when I say, keep your phone on. And if a founder texts you, and we give everybody their own business phone, I said, have your personal phone, have your business phone. The business phone notifications turned on 24/7. And if you get a phone call from a founder at 1 a.m., pick up. Because if we don't pick up as investors and supporters, our competitive venture capital firm does pick up. Then they have a better reputation than us. And if you don't like that, don't work for me. There's only 20 people who work for me. I don't need more than 10 or 20. So with AI, I might need 5. So go work somewhere else. And then all the money we make and the reward for working that hard will be split between those people.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
So final part. Can Japan build the next global giant? So what do you think about Japan right now?
I think Uniqlo is a good example. Everybody in America is becoming obsessed. Why? Because they're very focused on the consumer and the product. Product excellence is everything. So if you look at Japanese culture, Kaizen, constant improvement, that's all you need to do. And then think global. For maybe the last 20 years, Japanese entrepreneurs have thought local because you have such a great customer base. 100 million Japanese, many of them have a lot of wealth. So you can just service them and make a good business. But if you want to make a great business, you have to be willing to take on the world like Sony did, like Toyota did, like Nintendo did, like Uniqlo is doing. There are many incredible examples. And I think maybe, you know, in the 80s in America, American companies and industry was terrified of the Japanese. They were too good, too much Kaizen, too much discipline, just so good at product. And we were lazy and fat and not focused in America. And then American entrepreneurs got bold again. Elon Musk, bold. We're going to make cars here again. We're going to go to space, right? Uber, bold. We're going to build a global company. We're going to be able to have the same service everywhere. You take out the Uber app, you can get a car within minutes. That's how the Japanese have to start thinking again. The average Japanese citizen is more entrepreneurial than the average American. I think because of these fundamentals. Ikigai, Kaizen, Giri. These things are really impressive foundation for entrepreneurship. But if you stay on the island, you're going to only build $100 million company, best case, maybe 200 million. You'll have to go out to the rest of the world with your product and be brave and bold, which means you're going to need to speak English really well. You're going to need to understand other cultures, and you're going to need to travel. And we're starting to see that from the entrepreneurs here. And then also, the parents are important. So you're a millennial or Gen Z? You're 40 years old?
I'm 38. 37 right now.
37, right. So almost 40. So you're a millennial, I think. Your parents, if you told them you're going to start a company when you were 20 years old, you said, I'm going to build a company, would they be scared or proud? Which one more? Scared for you? Concerned?
Scared. Concerned.
Okay.
100%.
100%. If you had a child and they said, I want to be an entrepreneur today, would you be scared or excited?
Excited?
Okay.
Yes.
That's the difference. You would be excited.
I want them to have like a thinking, like choice. Yeah.
Right. So you'd be excited. Okay. So, and if they said, I have a really good idea and I have this job offer, and so I can join an accelerator and get 100,000, or I can join this company and get, $60,000 salary. What would you tell them to do? Your child. Is $100,000 to go to an incubator and try for a year to start a company, or they could just go get a salaryman job? What would you tell them to do?
The first one.
The first one. Okay. What would your parents tell you to do?
The salary.
Salary.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's why I'm here. There's been a paradigm shift, a generational shift. The Gen X and the millennials were told here to not take risk. Safe job.
Is it the same in the US too? Or?
In the US, I think entrepreneurs are always looked at as the best possible choice. Even when I was growing up, I'm Gen X, and in the 70s and 80s, if I told my parents I was going to start a business, they'd be like, great.
Yeah.
So probably like how we think. Great. And if I said, I have this chance to start a business, I have an investor where I'm going to try for 6 months, and I also have a job offer. They said, well, the job offer will still be there. If you got the job offer at 20, after you start the company, you'll have more experience doing really great stuff. They'll respect that. And the job offer will be for $70,000. You get a raise because you have more real world experience. And so that's the change. That's why I'm very hopeful. That's why I'm coming here twice a year. That's why I agreed to do Founder University with Jetro. It's because I believe that the entrepreneurs right now, and their parents believe in them, entrepreneurs believe in themselves, and they just have to learn English and get off the island. Yeah. It's two most important things.
And you talked about physical AI and Japan's opportunity earlier. Is it you think that's the layer that like Japan can like thrive the most?
You have a good history of industrial, products. You have great ports, great ability to do trade. People respect the Japanese aesthetic, the culture, the design. It's all set up perfectly. So, yeah, I think it's the perfect, but also I think software and other products could also do very well. There's no reason the next Uber or the next Airbnb or the next software company won't come out of Japan. It's completely possible. Yeah. So be brave, be bold. Take bold swings and accept failure as the precursor to success. You must accept that failure and repeated failure is the precursor to success. What comes before success? Failure. So I am constantly telling my entrepreneurs here in Japan, fail and learn, fail and learn, fail and learn, then you succeed. But failure brings shame in Japanese culture, I mean, it's the only culture that has seppuku.
Typical, yeah.
But I always saw that as, wow, that is dedication, but unnecessary in startups. You can fall on the sword and say, it's my responsibility, but you don't have to use an actual sword. You could just say, the sword is the pain.
Yeah.
And the cut is embracing the pain. It's okay to embrace the pain, but it doesn't have to be shame. Pain is progress. Sometimes, you make a product and it's so close and then you feel the shame and you give up. No, what did you learn? Run another experiment. So I think what I tell the founders is the first year of your startup is an experiment. Not a business, it's an experiment.
Yeah.
If the experiment fails, come up with another experiment for the next 6 months. If that fails, do another experiment. If you do 2-3 experiments over, 1 or 2 years with your startup, and you feel like the experiment in that space is not ready for a good business, then you can shut it down. Then come up with a new set of experiments. Now, if it works and customers start buying it and you make $1 million and you think it could get to 10 or 100 million, great. Now it's not an experiment in your mind. It's a business. So now business, take it seriously, right? But with the experiment, be open to the result. And all you want to do is collect data. And my last thing is, I think it's for anybody who's going to start a business, it's incredibly important to raise the salaries of the average Japanese consumer. My understanding in talking to a lot of young people here is they're concerned about the cost of raising a family because of the salaries. So if you start a company and it makes revenue, you could increase the salaries. This is very important for the nation, is to make babies. And startups can make a better opportunity and raise those salaries to the point at which people can make more babies.
Great. Okay, I have one last question. So I want you to send a message to the potential founders in Japan or potential entrepreneurs, and what should they do, and what should they do to make Japan to be a prominent a player in this fierce AI race for the next 5 to 10 years?
If you are Japanese and you're thinking of starting a company, just start building. Don't wait. Just start building. Every night, every weekend, don't sleep. Just start using the tools to build. Anyone can build any software now for free, or maybe $20 a month. You have no excuse. Find 2 friends and start building fun stuff that you think is interesting. That's all you need to do. You don't need to overthink it.
Yeah.
I think the problem, not just for Japanese entrepreneurs, even American ones, is they think too much.
Before you
stop thinking and start retard maxing. It means don't think, go with your instinct. Just build stuff.
Okay.
People spend too much time thinking, planning, and not enough time executing. Find something you love, find something you believe should exist in the world, and just build it.
Have you met such people in your current visit Japan? Not yet?
I'd say most people are thinking too much. Maybe 1 out of 10 in America and here are just building and not overthinking it. Because when you start building, you start learning. When I first came here to ski in the powder, on the flight here, I just watched Japanese deep powder skiing instructions. And then I went to a secret resort outside of Niseko where they take you on the cats into the deep powder, and it turned out to be a blizzard. And I had a guide, and the guide said, have you skied in Japan before? I said, no. She has, have you skied in deep powder before? She said, no. She said, okay, it's a blizzard. It's incredibly dangerous. I'm going to blow the whistle. Follow me. And I said, okay, I'll follow you. She went maybe 10 feet and disappeared.
Oh my God.
And then I heard, and I followed the whistle.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done. This is maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I had never done something so hard. And then the next day I went out and I knew how to ski in the powder. So this is the lesson. You can just do things. You can just do things and take some risk. And then there's some risks where you should get some advice. And so that's the art. Learning and starting a company, building software, there's no risk. You're just going down the mountain in soft snow. Worst case, you lose a ski. Maybe 1 out of 100 times it could be fatal for the company. You know, you make a really bad decision and the company goes out of business. But most people are like obsessed with that 1%, not that 99%. So just get started. And if you fail, it's just an experiment. Who cares? If the Japanese people want to have this economy thrive again, do what Uniqlo did. Gamble, take risk. You have to get that gamble inside the culture again. More risk-taking, less conservative. No gamble, no future.
Great message. Thank you. You make me want to start something.
Yes, do it. Quit. He quits. He quits. 2 weeks notice. Sorry. He's starting his own podcast company. You're the first employee. There you go. Everybody's quitting. He's like, I don't tell my boss I'm quitting.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
I had a great time.
I did. Thank you. ここまでジェイソン・カラカニスさんとシリコンバレーの大物投資家が語る AI 時代の覇者をテーマにお送りしてきました。本日のご視聴いただきありがとうございます。ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価、そしてクロスディグの公式 X のフォローもお願いします。ニュースレターの配信も始めてますので概要欄からぜひご登録ください。